And welcome back to Underwhelming Barrage. We are now on episode 1441. Do it the other way, I guess. There. Here with us this week, we got, of course, Tyler, Chrono, and Ian. And back with us once again, who is now becoming pretty much regular on the show, is Mickey D. What's up, guys? How you doing, Mickey?
Good to be here.
Yeah.
Was
Good to be
good.
back.
Chrono, welcome back. I think you
I
are
know.
back from your first missed episode, right?
I'm just so glad you took me off the suspended list.
Yeah.
It was a little rough, but
FFD would
happy,
never.
Yeah.
happy to be back.
Unsuspended for episode 14, of course, is Chrono. And of course, Tyler and Ian. Guys, we got a big event this weekend. Who's going?
I'm going.
I'm going.
Ooh.
I am not going, sadly. I got the weekend free, but when I looked up plane tickets like last week or a week and a half ago, they were like $650. And I'm like, you know what? I'm good. Because that would have been like after hotel, Uber, food, that'd been like a $1,200 trip. And like,
Yeah.
all that for a sector, I don't think so.
No, I really wish that we had known about the format shakeup when this was announced, so we could have bought the cheap flight.
Yeah.
'Cause I was not interested in going to Portland to play the old man.
And like this is just another reason, and I know that we talked about this like on more than one episode, but it's just another reason why you have to announce this earlier. Because like if I had time to like work out childcare, this and that, I could have made this work. But by the time I figured it out, it was way too late. But on that note, on the bright side, they did show their stream schedule for October, and I think it's October, was it 28th?
29th.
29th, yeah. They are going to tell us the sectors, regionals, etc. for set 6 at that time, which is amazing.
Round of applause for Jack.
Yes.
Proud of
Pretty
him.
sure he was
Round of
the big one
applause.
that got
That's
that to
amazing.
happen.
The only way it's not amazing is if they're like, surprise, they're the first week of December or something like that. So,
It's the week of Christmas.
yeah,
Christmas weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume, and I hope that this is a safe assumption, that they're not until after Christmas. Like,
I assume it's going to be like the second weekend of January would be the first one.
I think so
So,
too.
I have some information on that, and the only thing that I know is that there should be nothing happening in November.
Yeah,
that's
because
based
of Seattle,
on-
right? Yeah.
Yeah, so when we planned Beatle, we wanted to make sure it didn't fall on a weekend that there was a major event. So they were able to just let us know that like the week before, the week after, there's nothing going on. And then the week after that's Thanksgiving, and they would be
Right.
insane to do something
Yeah.
that weekend. So
Yeah.
I think November itself is safe.
Yeah.
No idea about December though.
Yeah,
Like, it could be December 1st.
I've
or
been
whatever
playing
that first
card
weekend.
games for decades, like almost 3 decades at this point, and I can tell you that I don't think I've ever played in a major event for any game in the month of December. Like it's asinine to schedule.
So it's
in
just
December.
Riftbound, I guess, because they have like
Yeah.
4 tournaments in December.
Yeah. But like pro level
raised-
events,
raised
it's
that price
like,
as well.
they usually
Yeah.
stay away from December and the holidays just because people like travel, weather, this and that. So hopefully we don't get anything until January. But then again, I'm also crossing my fingers that it's not like, second week of January is like a sector and a regional, and it's like, come on, give me a break. But we'll see what they do with that. But like I said, this weekend is Portland, and the left side of our screen here is going. Hope you guys do well. You'll probably be playing, if I had to guess, one of these decks that we're going to be talking about here in just a minute. Let's just jump right into it. We now have data for the post Force Throw world, and it is actually kind of crazy, as we probably expected. But the main thing that really catches my eye is that just looking at overall top 8s, Han Solo is literally everywhere. And you might ask, which one? The answer is yes, that one. So the Han 1 and Han 2 combined for 27 top 8s. Now that's out of a total of like not even that many played. Like Han Solo SOR had 48 played and Shadows. So there was 90 Hans played total.
27 of them made top 8.
And 27 of them made top 8. And like even winning, it's like 6 wins or something ridiculous. 5 wins.
But
So,
how many Boba was played and how many Bobas made it?
you know what? I'm glad that you brought that up because Boba Fett had 76, which is
The most played.
by far the most played, like 20
Wow.
over second, which was Sabine. And now you might ask, John, how many won with 78 played? The answer to that is actually your guys' point total right now because I did not bring up the points. There we go. Perfect. So, what do you guys think about this meta, this Han Solo? Like, Boba's still the most played. You got, Vader has basically dropped off a cliff. Of course, there's hardly any Quinlan. There were still 3 Quinlans that made top 8s. But, like, that's a far cry from, like, the 20 or whatever that were making it. Tyler, I'll start with you here. What do you think about all this?
It's the classic, very telling new format, technically, because of bannings. Aggro get pushed forward. We see the back of Sabine. We see a lot more aggro coming back. We see very little control. I think it's going to be, that's the big question, is for things like Rey and Kira. We saw them coming back a little bit, but not as strong as they were, like end of set 4. And I think it's going to be the question to answer after Portland and soon afterwards going into set 6. Because we're not going to have too many weekends of PQs left, but is Control actually still what we perceive coming out of Brilliant Bayless a very good deck? Like the best thing coming into this kind of meta, or has it actually been trounced? And I think the best thing that's looking to trounce it, our good old friend Hantu Blue. What a surprise. You lose the best card in the deck, and it's still one of the best, if not the best deck coming into this new format.
But Tyler, I thought that deck was dead. What's going on?
I believe, a good 2 weeks ago, on this very stage, I proclaimed that I believe that deck improved the most coming out of these bans. From all the force throw decks, from all the force throw decks, Quinlan and Han, of the two, Han didn't really care for force throw. Force throw was just good into other force throw and dealt with the space. Space has died out a whole bunch. It's kind of just does not do a lot of things, and Han can still just play 3 entrenched and answer it pretty easily. And the rest of that Han does, it got way better to the rest of the field compared to the set 4. Like the set 4 deck was very good. It did a bunch of very interesting things, and no one was prepared for it at the end of set 4. But now this list is just Force does just so much for you. Kiata just draws you every card. You just have 3 cost 4 power units with shields. You get everything you want plus a cheap Luke, which you can't ever be mad about.
Yeah, well, previously one of the best answers to Hantu Blue was force throw, right? Because you can force throw giant units to kill their Lukes, to kill their, like Anakin's, whatever. Now you can't do that anymore. So it makes sense that these cheap Anakins, cheap Lukes, cheap crates are even better than they were because there's fewer answers for them. Well, fewer cheap answers. CJ, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the meta right now it's open, which is really good. I know Han did really well, but to everyone's point, I think that's largely due to the lack of some of the hard control decks. And I think we all know from playing a lot of competitive TCGs, control is typically the last of the party, right? Because when you're playing a deck where you're trying to 1-for-1 and just be reactive, you need to have the right answers in your deck to the expected meta. And right now, no one has any idea what the meta looks like. I think going into this tournament, there will be control of the top tables, and those are the ones who have discerned and figured out what the most popular decks are going to be and are equipped to deal with it. I do think there'll be some Palps up at the top. I think there'll be some Kiras, maybe even some Throns or Kylos. Like I think we'll see those blue-green decks towards the top. Just the problem is when you go into your PQ and you have no idea what people are playing, like how do you pack the right answers? It's really tough. It's kind of a guessing game. So I think we'll see that come back. And then I do think we'll see a little bit of aggro as well. Hopefully we don't see people bring Boba. Like if people bring a bunch of Boba to Portland, good for you. But I really hope you don't, because I don't think that's going to even make a lot of day 2. So I think we'll see some aggro. I think we'll see Sabine still at the top for aggro. maybe a little Vader sprinkled in because people also can't seem to quit that deck. And then, we'll see the blue green control, and we'll see a bunch of Hans, both Han 1s, Han 1 green, and Han 2 red.
Yeah, and Han 1 blue. I mean, that's a deck that, people are
Best,
really.
best Anakin deck for
Yeah,
sure.
Anakin, cheap Luke, etc. Like I think that, Alex said this best when we were talking about this Han 1 blue deck the other day, is that it is a very, very powerful deck. The problem is that if people play Han 1 green, it's like you're on your back foot quite a bit.
Yeah, people play blue green control. You're also on the back foot.
Yeah.
That's not an easy matchup.
Yeah. I do expect to see some Han 1 blue in Portland. I don't think it'll be a ton, but it might be one of those sleeper decks that just gets the right matchups and sneaks its way into the top 8. Wouldn't be surprised there. But, we'll see. Mickey, what do you think?
So, when looking at the past week's results, shout out to Suibase, by the way. Like, I would highly recommend viewers go check out Suibase. And on Suibase, there's like 2 major data points I like to look at: overall win rate of the deck, as well as percentage played, as well as I like to look at the matchup chart. And then you can go to custom filter and filter by rounds and points, and so you can kind of see what the top performers look like. And so there was some stats that jumped out to me on that. The first ones is all the Hans had like a 60% win rate. Kira also had a 60% win rate, with fewer played than the Hans. And Vader Yellow had a 39% win rate. And so, like, I was considering, I have a PQ this weekend. I'm not going to Portland, but I was considering Vader Yellow going into that meta, and I saw that stat and immediately started testing other decks. I was hesitant about the deck at first, and I think part of it is because Boba's the most played deck, and even if we don't think it's a good choice, people are going to respect it because they have to respect it, because even if it's not a good choice, it's going to be there. And you're going to get caught in the crossfire a little bit if people are like, if Kira's playing eager escort fighter main to like eat the TIE bombers, well, it's also going to hit your lurking TIE phantoms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
One deck I expected to see a little bit more of that we didn't see as much of is Ray Data Vault. I thought we were going to see a giant uptick in that, and it was present. I think it was
Saw
like
18 total and 5 top 8. So,
yeah.
Almost 1/3.
Wow, you went to a lot of PQs, Tata.
So like it showed up a little bit, but I expected a little bit more of that, and I think Portland will probably reflect that a little bit too. For the second data set, going to like the top performers at the top tables, I like to filter minimum round 5, so round 5 and on in PQs, and minimum points 12, so it's like 4-1 and better, playing for top 8 and top 8. Big notes of here, Sabine becomes the most played deck at the top tables and actually has a pretty good win rate, which I don't necessarily expect to see, but I think that's just a symptom of first week meta. Aggro is king, and so just like playing a very proactive game plan is going to get you a lot of wins, because like maybe there was a Gar yellow that snuck to the top tables because it's a first weekend meta, people are playing on refined lists. Sabine is going to eat some of that stuff alive. Boba has a horrendous win rate at top tables. It is 8-23, so 8 wins and 23 losses.
And that just keeps getting worse week by week. I mean,
yeah,
keeps dropping.
The Hans, like Han 1, surprisingly, is about 50-50 across the colors. Kira's 50-50, but the big standout for win rate is in the positive direction is Han Solo 2. Han 2 Blue is 15 wins, 6 losses at the top table. So like Tyler said, it's probably the best deck coming into this meta because its biggest predator in Quinlan has almost entirely left the meta.
Yeah, there's just very few bad matchups for it. I mean, no one yet has mentioned the incredible run by Captain Rex Droid Manufactory. I mean, this deck. I don't know what PQ it was. I forget. I think it was.
I know
a
which one it
European
was.
Yep.
It was the one that our teammate Alex DiFi
Okay.
won his
Yes. He
fourth
lost in the
PQ in a
finals.
row.
Hey,
Yeah.
what is that because Ian, he might have like read his opponent's card and be like, oh, that's what this guy does. I probably should react
Well,
appropriately.
and he was playing Han 2 Blue, which is probably.
Yeah, I feel like you played Ogdo Bogdo against that deck, and none of their guys live, and then they just don't have any units for the unity of purpose.
But watch out for Captain Rex in set 6. I'll say it now. I mean, that guy might actually be a real deck next set. I'm holding out hope that my boy Rex can finally shine. But anyway, Ian, Your thoughts on all
Yeah,
this?
I mean, I agree with pretty much what everybody said. Glad I could give a shout out to DI-Fi because that dude's been on a tear.
Yeah.
We were talking to him because he's a fellow Bothan, and like we've all been like not a lot of us are going to Portland, but we've all like some of us have PQs that are happening that week. Some had some PQs last week and all that. So we've been talking about like the new meta and stuff, and like I asked him if he was gonna continue to play Anakin, and he was like, "No, I don't think so. Like Force Throw is kind of important for how that
Yeah.
deck worked." Uh, but he just like picked up Hantu Blue like it was nothing because it's like very similar in terms of play style, except you
Yeah.
just have a little bit more busted turn one plays with Bogdo and Grogu, and just went to town on people playing, his usual 52 card European special or whatever the heck it was.
Yeah,
Uh,
52.
yeah, and just crushed it. Which isn't surprising because as we talked about in the last episode, like we kind of all expected Hantu to still be a huge player,
Yeah.
and that showed. It had the most wins, had a great top 8 conversion rate. I was surprised there wasn't more being played, but I think that'll change for Portland. Like I think people look at this data and they're just going to be like, all right, Hantu Blue is the deck again. So there's going to be a lot, and who knows what's going to happen in terms of the rest of the decks. Like I could definitely see the Iden step up again, like just after Galactics as like a response, like Iden Data Vaults or maybe Kira, if people think that matchup's fine. I still think Kiati's kind of a problem for Kira, but I mean, the Force Throw being able to like pair with an Anakin or a Luke to like kill an 8/8 in space was kind of important. So maybe that matchup isn't as favored towards Hantu anymore.
Don't forget Mace though. Mace is huge in that. Like just having an open fire on a guy.
Yeah, for
Rear
sure.
foot. That's
Yeah,
big.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff to see. Like I'm surprised at Ray Data Vault, like Mickey said. I would have assumed there was going to be more of that. My plan for Portland is to make sure I am prepared for that deck because it is a good deck still, and I think that we will see a lot of it. I'm super disappointed with every Vader player out there. I have no idea how that has a 39% win rate. That's like atrocious. That is so crazy to me. And I actually thought that it did get better in terms of the meta. I just think that you had to play it similar to how we built it from Minneapolis, where you're just trying to take out all the other space decks with like P-38s and TIE Daggers and Krennic Shuttle and the Eager Escorts. Like, just make sure you have a plan for other space decks so you don't just auto lose to Boba, because Boba was the most played deck. So you need to be able to beat that deck. It's not a great matchup, but if you build it that way, at least it's like close to 50-50.
Yeah, it's like the one
And then
deck that freaking Boba's even good against.
right. And maybe that's what it is. Just like all the Vaders ran into Bobas and they didn't have their deck built correctly to have a chance against it. But I don't know. I saw that and my mind was just like blown at how terrible the win rate it was. Because I feel like that deck isn't bad. Like it does one thing really, really well, and if people aren't prepared for it, it's gonna do extremely well. And like it was statistically really good into the Data Vault decks,
I
and
do
there was
wonder.
more Data Vault decks in the meta now. Like it's not set 4 level yet, but it could be for Portland. Who
Could
knows,
be.
right?
I do wonder if
So
like the lack of Ray Data Vault in the meta, because like that was one of Vader's best matchups, and it got better for the Ray side of things
Yeah, a
in
lot
set
better.
5.
Yeah.
But I still think Vader's happy to see that matchup if they get like sat down at the table. I'd take the Vader side for sure.
But also, like, correct me if I'm wrong here, Ian, but like Vader always reminded me a lot of Sabine in that, yes, you had your core pieces, but then all your extra like tech pieces that still fit into your strategy, you had to play the right ones. Right?
correct.
You had to
I
get all
agree.
right. Here, what's the meta? How do I attack it with the other 20 cards in my deck, right?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that Sabine was like. So if everyone's all of a sudden bringing their Sabine ties back with Sabine and a few other pieces to combat like Han 1, a few other things, you do have to adjust, right? Maybe go back to the 2/1 drop version, like you mentioned. And how many people were doing that versus playing the same one they were playing into the Force Throw meta, right? With the outmaneuvers over Overwhelming Barrage and all that kind of not
Yeah. I
nonsense,
mean,
but
I
things
always
that was
thought that
pointing out.
was crazy, personally. Like,
Yeah.
Overwhelming Barrage was so good in that deck. Like, you could
Yeah.
sideboard it out in certain matchups, but like,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
playing it was always crazy to me.
Not to dive too much into the Vader math, but like I do think a lot of the tech pieces for Vader kind of attack the meta in like a overlapping way where it's like you want eager escorts for Han 1 to get the Falcon, for Boba to get all those space units and clear out. And you want the Krennic shuttle for the same kind of matchups. You want the Waylays to help against Rey Datavault and against Han 1. Like I think a lot of the tech pieces you want now are different than what you wanted to in the fourth throw meta, but are all good into the matchups I expect at the top tables now.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm hoping that that's not the same win rate that we'll see for Portland, just because it's near and dear to my heart. But was very sad to see how poorly it did. And then I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that people are still playing this Boba deck. Like, it maybe made a little bit of sense in the previous meta, and it obviously was doing way better in terms of conversion rate and like being a winning deck. Like, it barely had it was like a 51% win rate. Like, it barely even had a positive win rate, and it was the most played deck. And obviously there's going to be some skew there because there's going to be playing each other at some amount, but
And to build up, please, people, everyone stop saying, "Oh, but if it's a good pilot, no, Boba's won." It doesn't
Right.
matter if you're the
0.
best pilot. The deck is not tier 1. It isn't. It could
Yeah.
be tier 2, and that's absolutely fine. But
Yeah.
man,
I'm very confused about the
Yeah.
play rate of that deck. I don't expect Portland to be. I don't think it's going to be the number one play deck in Portland.
Well,
I think it'll
don't think
most
so.
likely be
No.
Sabine or Han 2, but I do
Probably
think
Han
that there
2.
will. I still think that there will be a lot of Bobas, and they're just not going to perform well.
I
I think it's going to be a top three represented deck day one, and I would not be surprised if it's not top 5 day 2.
Yeah, it's probably going to have a pretty low conversion rate, but I mean, in my opinion, and let's touch on this too. We'll go back around. I think for Portland, like the only decks that I would consider as like a you know like a real player here would be like blue green, like either villain or hero, like it doesn't matter, or one of the Hans, like either Han 1 or Han 2. Like those, like I know that range is
You could
wide.
pick an aggro deck. I think you could choose one.
Maybe.
I actually think the Cad Weenies deck is like a
Yep.
pretty awesome
Still
deck.
think it's okay.
And
Yeah.
and it did really well. I don't know if they were all the Cataweenies deck. I'm assuming that the majority of them were that version,
Yeah.
as that was like
Probably.
the most popular one going into the last meta. But like I don't know, that deck always seemed to be decent into a lot of different strategies. And like if you think Han 2 is going to be the most played one, like having Tarkin Town as your base and a ping leader is
Yeah.
a good recipe for success. So
Well, then I also think that Palp yellow is a pretty cheeky call too, because if you can dodge the Sabines, and even Sabine now is not like an auto loss anymore, but it's still hard. I mean, obviously, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not here saying it's favored, but like
No.
it's not just like you get steamrolled anymore.
I do think it stinks though for the control decks. This is the one piece that's rough is like they had to make their decks much worse in like the previous Force meta. They're going to be back on the Sabers, back on a very streamlined plan, which it like is much better for them into the Palps and into the Kiras and all the control. But so I think you do have to dodge them, or at least dodge if you're trying. Hopefully, at least you can play one, but more than one.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. It's just the early drops that Palp Yellow has access to now, like the Aura Sing, there's a handful of cards there that, really help against these, like Sabine type decks. So you actually have more game than you did previously, but it's still not
Yeah.
good. But Palp is pretty well positioned against these force decks. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see like a Palp Yellow sneak through that has really good matchups. But like outside of that, all these random decks like Gar Saxon, Yoda, like those are gonna just kind of fall by the wayside. Like they might sneak into day 2, but I wouldn't expect them to make a real run for top 8.
I would put that Yoda green deck that the Enigma guy played and won a PQ with on the same tier as Palpatine in terms of like you just need to dodge the aggro decks because you're just never. That deck was the greediest list I've ever seen ever. It's playing like 2 clones and 3 Yodas, and it's just trying to like have a
Yeah,
double
just clone
Yoda,
Yoda, yeah.
and I'm just like, you're dead on turn 4 or 5 against any aggro deck. You have like no interaction.
Yeah. I mean, if you just take the chance that no one's playing aggro, I mean, let's just take a look. Total decks played in the first week of PQs. I mean, Sabine was the second most played, and Cad Bane
The
was third. So there is quite a bit of aggro still.
the other bit that scares me about Palpatine specifically as well is I don't think it has the best Boba Data Vault matchup. And if that's still like we expect it to go down, but it's still gonna be there. And so I'd be hesitant to bring Palp mostly because of like Sabine and then Boba also is there.
I also
True.
think the
That's
Cad
true.
Weenies deck is better into control decks than the original like 2-drop version.
Mhm.
Just
No.
because you apply so much more pressure early.
I the way I've been viewing this meta with just 1 week of data, I haven't like sat down and charted it out, but it feels like there's like 5 or 6 top decks or top strategies. Like
Right.
blue green is all in one bucket, space aggro all in one bucket, and you can choose to like you're gonna lose to 2 of those strategies, but you can beat everything else. So like if you pick Palpatine, you're gonna beat the Force mid range and like maybe even the control decks, but you're gonna lose to all the aggro. If you choose the Force decks, you're going to lose to like the Kira Data Vaults, but you're going to beat up on all the aggro and all like the mid range piles in Han 2 or Han 1. If you pick Han 1, you're going to beat up on all the aggro and the Boba Data Vault, but you're going to like lose to Han 2. And so, like, again, I don't have it exactly charted out. I don't have the stats behind all of it, but that's how I've been viewing the meta of like, you're not going to be able to beat everything. Just like, what bad matchups are you willing to have? And like, how extreme do you want your matchups to
Yeah.
be?
Well, it to me it feels like actual paper rock scissors. Whereas like
Yeah.
the first 3-4 weeks of PQs, you could play literally anything and throw a dart and like you know spike a PQ. And then as we get along, you know the meta gets all out of whack. Then they ban force throw, and now it's like you can really see like a real paper rock scissors meta. Like
Mhm.
with the blue green villain and hero decks, and then like your force decks that kind of beat those decks, and then like your Sabines and whatnot that lose to like the race style decks. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a cool meta now. I think people might have been saying when Forza was first banned that hey, this meta is gonna suck, but like to me after this first week, like it seems awesome. Like it seems like much more open. It seems like it's just a better meta overall. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we'll see in Portland and it's like 6 out of 8 top eights are like the same deck. I don't
It's
know.
also been only 1 week, and so like there hasn't been enough, and there's been just PQs, no like huge events, so there hasn't been as much time for people to explore and like innovate and really try and crack this 6 week meta. And
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to get fully cracked because it's only 6 weeks, but like there's some big events, and so people are going to like take their stabs at trying to break this meta.
yeah. And 2 of the PQs this past weekend were um, sealed. Like the one in Seattle and the one in Baltimore were both sealed. Um, and then they're missing data for Hawaii. I'm not sure about that one. It only had 20 people though. And then there was one in
Mhm.
Georgia that only had 38 people. I don't know anything about that one. Ian, do you know anything about the Georgia one?
Yeah, our teammate Mephisto ended up winning
Okay,
that
that's the
one.
one that
Yeah,
Mephisto one. Okay,
yeah, he
Yeah.
won with Cad
Cad, right?
Weenies,
Yeah, yeah. I remember he was
and then our
talking about
teammate
that.
Craw was playing Kira Datavol. He got second.
Okay, yeah. I know that they were talking about that in the K2D Discord. I just didn't
Mhm.
realize that was that PQ. Cool. Yeah. So, Tyler, do you have any other thoughts on Portland or the meta?
We haven't talked much about it, at least this episode, but a deck has returned back to the metagame, shot up to the top of the leaderboard for a number of top eights coming out of this past weekend, and it's Han 1. Han 1 green, most part, was one of the better ones coming set 4, and has now come back. It was by far probably the most hated deck because of Force Throw. It's now swooped in. And I'm going to sit here and give my case for all of you, all at home listening. Don't play this deck. Do not do it. All right.
Alex needs to get some earmuffs.
Alex.
Alex is playing it. So
Alex is a second question because man, who knew you just remove a deck out of the metagame, bring it back, and one guy can just go and stream every day of the week, like almost continuously. It's crazy. But that deck, you will just, it'll play. It is the whole idea of rock, paper, scissors. You will beat almost everything, except almost every deck can be like, I'm gonna put the one card in that fucks you over. And luckily, luckily, it got a lot better this set because of Kellerin, and we're removing a lot of the pilot cards. That made it a lot more fragile in last set. Because in set 4, you do our situations for that deck where you would just absolutely lose to the most random stuff. Round 6, X and O, I'm playing against a Sabine. I get confiscated twice, game 1. The amount of things in Minneapolis, I faced 2 Yoda Greens in back-to-back rounds where on 5 resources I got You're My Only Hope looped. The most randomest things will beat that deck, and you'll just sit there and be like, why did I even bother playing this? And it'll steamroll, all the Sabines and stuff that didn't have the masterpiece on turn 1 or stuff, where you just go plan pilots like, all right, game's easy, this deck's amazing. But when someone has like that Hantu Blue has like the Force Lightning on your flip and your 7s are just stuck in hand now, there are just situations where
it is really funny that they can just Force Lightning and turn off the the ability. You don't even have to kill them.
Han's one of those decks that's like the bad games are really bad and the good games are really good. There's no like in between. It's like you either snowball like really early and win, or you get pounded and like you don't have a chance. But like Han 1 was the leader that had the most top 8s this past weekend, but like it was like divided. I'm looking at the data here.
It was like almost evenly divided between like green, blue, and Data Vault.
Like Han 1 green had 6 top 8s. Han 1 blue Force had 5, which we talked about that deck. That's just like a really like high roll deck too.
Yeah.
It's
I think Data Vault had like 3 top 8s.
Data Vault had 3, and then I think there was a red one too. It must be pretty far down the list. I don't see it.
Yeah.
But I think there was a Han red that made a top 8 as well. There it is. Han Solo. Yeah. Anyway, but like it's everywhere. So wouldn't be surprised to see some flavor of Han.
It's gonna be. People are gonna bring it. People are gonna play it. All I can do is just sit here and beg to you. Please just pick someone else.
I also think another reason not to play Han 1 green, which Tyler outlined very clearly and very well. My picks going into this weekend, like I'm going to a PQ, so I know like the meta more well-rounded, but I think the like most well-rounded, most balanced decks in the meta right now are Kira and Hantu Blue.
Yeah.
And I think Han green suffers against both of those matchups.
It can. Yeah. Kira for sure. I mean,
Kira, Ray, Hantu Blue, where it's biggest haters.
Yeah, I mean, we all know Tyler doesn't want to play mirror matches in Portland.
I won the mirrors. I won the mirrors of the Han.
Okay.
It's the random stuff.
I do think we'll see Han 1. I think towards the top. It might be blue, it might even be red. But I do think we'll see it somewhere.
Tyler, do you want to share what you're playing in Portland? I mean, I'm pretty sure it's probably Hantu Blue, but maybe you're playing something else.
Yeah, in set 4, I played 2 decks. I played a lot of Han 1 green. That deck got me an immense amount of top 8s. It almost got me top 8 Richmond, and it was a great deck. But it just never could get past quarterfinals. It would always sit there. It would play against a Ray, a Kira, or stuff. The player would just play the cards that lit up in their hands, and then they would lose. And then I tried Hantu Blue, and then won a PQ and got second the next one. So my kind of choice and decision is pretty easy for me to go. It's just play the deck that just won me the actual events.
Yeah, I mean, I won't put Ian on the spot, just in case they're playing a
dude, I have no idea what the fuck
deck.
I'm playing. I swear to God, I have no
he's on Boba Data Vault for sure.
Boba Data Vault confirmed.
No, but it's
Don't worry, guys.
Boba 2 Data Vault. It's mono green.
Weeks of psyopsing, and he's like, guys, I broke it. We broke
secret
Boba.
deck.
You can do me a favor, Ian, and try to ask your teammate there. How many? What 2 cards should I cut so I can make this a nice 50 instead of the 52? That'll help me out greatly.
Just play 52. Math works out.
So for my PQ, I had 3 decks that I was thinking about. It was Hantu, Blue, Kira, Vader. Knowing the meta, it's a lot of space aggro and Ray Data Vault, so that eliminated Kira for me. And then seeing Vader's performance eliminated Vader for me. So like 90% chance I'm also on Hantu Blue this weekend.
Yeah, I mean it's probably still the best deck. So
yeah,
just run it.
I've been saying it's the best deck for for
months. Yeah.
I just hate playing that mirror, man.
The
It's
mirror
just
Oh,
not-
the
sucks.
mirror is awful. The mirror is so bad.
Just
I'll
gotta
play it-
suck it up. Mirrors suck with almost any deck. Like that.
I
like,
got used to the
it's-
Quinlan mirror. I can get used to anything.
Yeah.
Like
I love the
it's-
Quinlan mirror. It was great.
Dude,
It-
I'm a weird sicko and I liked the Django mirror, so
at the end
I don't
I
of
know.
hated Django
No.
mirrors.
fourth row, I enjoyed the Quinlan
Django
mirror.
4, Django set 4 mirrors were not fun.
I
Django
love
3
them.
mirrors were great. I love Django 3 mirrors. Django 4 was so bad.
It's pretty
It's
bad.
the only mirror I've ever played in this game where I don't like. Otherwise, I like playing mirrors. It's very fun.
I
How
I
could,
Or
how
so-
could, well,
I
how
like
can you
gray
like playing a
mirrors.
mirror? Why couldn't you like playing a mirror where your best card is RNG? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I love playing mirrors where we're both playing TDR.
No, I
hope
felt like it
mine's-
was a
hope mine's
dance.
better.
Because like
Eh,
usually it was
it's a
the first
dance.
person to TDR was actually wrong. Like
But
that
what if
was
they had,
yeah.
But are they wrong if they had two?
Unless they hit.
Yeah,
They're wrong-
or they
they're
just
wrong
said,
if they
"Oh,
do
it
it.
doesn't
they
matter."
hit. Now I'm gonna TDR response. Oh, I missed all of them.
Well, no, yeah, it was
Over.
really frustrating when my opponents didn't know that you're not supposed to TDR first. So then
Uh-huh.
they would just TDR first, but I didn't have my own TDR to just
Mm-hmm.
respond and get them.
Yeah.
That would be the only time that I didn't like it.
Mhm.
I just
Did
Did
always
that
drew
cost
two,
me
and
my
it
Denver
didn't matter.
day 2? Yes.
God,
But here we
Denver.
are.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
not talk
the
about
Hantu-
Denver.
The Hantu Blue mirror seems miserable, where you just roll the dice and win the die roll and slam an Ogdo, and you're like, all right, game 2.
Well,
Like it
was-
feels like that's
It was
a
way
lot.
better when people were like doubting Ogdo. It was way better.
Yeah.
If you were the Ogdo player and they were, it was good. But yeah, now everyone knows what's up.
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's gonna wrap up our set 5 here for now. So I don't think I like announced it publicly yet, but we are going to go to a bi-weekly format at least for the fall and winter. There's a lot of reasons why we're doing that, but it's just to kind of stay fresh with the material and keep us, fresh as well. So the next time we will be dropping an episode will actually be post regional and Philly sector as well. So just to let everyone know there. But let's move into set 6. So last time we recorded a few weeks ago, we were all talking about how kind of down we were on set 6 as a whole so far. Like the previews always seemed to be lacking. Like they were kind of scared to like really push the power level. At least that was my own thoughts. But this week is the first week, and we're only on Wednesday right now. So this is the first week where they have shown us some preview cards that I think have, first of all, real like playability, and second of all, are actually like interesting. The 2 leaders they showed this week, I already forget their names. Bale
Bail
and
Organa and
and
DJ.
and DJ.
DJ.
Yeah, those 2
They brought 'em back.
leaders. I'm not going to say that like, man, they're tier 1 broken, like, that's the brand new meta, but like they are very, very interesting to the point where like it makes you want to build around them. And I
Yeah.
wish that they would make more leaders like that. But like up till this week, we kept getting like, put an XP on a unit. Like, who
Restore
cares?
4.
Yeah. or restore a whole bunch, or give something sentinel, or
Here's a 3/7. You can play official.
It's like, who cares? Like those were always so boring, and like we got a new Hera. It's like Mon Mothma is like Hera, but for freaking officials. And it's like, okay, that's kind of cool, but like then all the officials suck, and you're like, okay, now I don't like this leader anymore. But now we have DJ and
But
Bale, which are
it's
actually
worse than Hera because you can't even play the villainy ones.
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So I really have hope for this set now after this week. We got a really solid handful of cards today, in particular, with like my favorite card of the whole day might be the 2-cost red 3/3. Like, what's it called? Warrior of
It's a
Clan Ordo.
Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that card's actually insane. Like, it's just a battlefield marine for red, which sounds kind of whatever, but for decks that you want to show cards like Padme, it's like every time it attacks, you ping something for 1. It's like that's pretty nuts.
Pretty good.
But anyway, that's my thoughts.
I was really just excited about it for my Bo-Katan
Yeah.
leader deck.
Mhm.
But
Oh, that's CJ's deck. Don't Don't be talking bad
Oh,
about.
I probably have the
John.
most reps on that deck of anyone.
Not even close. Like you played, I made fun of that deck every day that he tested it when set was.
And
It
I had
2
like
or
an
3.
85% win rate or something crazy with it.
It's just like,
But
dude,
but that's because it was just to
stop
be
playing
like,
draft decks and Premiere, and he just
yeah.
it was crazy. But Ian, what are your thoughts on Secrets of Power here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited with a lot of the cards that got spoiled recently. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Knights of the Old Republic, so seeing like all of the Knights of the Old Republic 2 game villain characters like come out and look pretty awesome. I mean, the Darth Scion art, I don't know what's going on with that one, but
Yeah,
the rest of them look amazing. But they also
yeah,
have like
Darth
really
Nihilus is
interesting
awesome.
effects.
Yeah,
Like the when played and when defeated seem like impactful, like they feel like legendaries, because they're obviously like really well-known named characters in that game, and like they're just pretty sweet. I also like seeing a bunch of these Sith tags,
Sith.
like
Yeah,
that's something that I think is going to be really interesting to see if like the now there, or what is it, there's
always
always
2.
two.
Yeah,
Yeah, if that event can actually see play now that there's more unique Sith. um
yeah, and
there's some also,
let
sorry, you
no,
can
I
go.
was gonna say that card in particular. I know that we were talking about it, off the air, but like people like are going to talk trash about that card because it doesn't see play, right? But that card is busted. It's like one of the most busted cards of set 5, and like it just you can't play it because all the Sith units are dog shit. But now it's like we're getting all these Sith tag units, so it's like watch out for that card. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but even some of like the commons that were with the Knights of the Old Republic stuff is good. Like that 2 cost 1/3 with grit blue neutral Lost Jedi. It's a Force Jedi that's a 2 cost 1/3 with grit. You play that in Han 2, and you have a 1 cost 3/1
Yeah,
that
one cost
has
3/1. Yeah.
Force and Jedi. If only Force Throw wasn't banned, you could play it in the same turn.
oh,
Uh,
thank God. Like, I know, not to go on a rant before it's my turn, but we talked about how broken Force Throw was, and they were hesitant to ban it, and now we get these spoilers, and you're just like, what? What did you think was gonna happen?
Given these
yeah.
spoilers, I would not be surprised if, like, even post Force Throw ban, Hatu doesn't make it to set 6. Like, it's insane.
Wild.
But I think some of the other stuff that I've saw that was really interesting and I thought were really cool were like Grand Moff Tarkin and Grand Admiral Thrawn, some really cool yellow villainy cards that got
Yeah.
spoiled. Like both of those seem really exciting to try to build around, or just kind of like slot in. Like Grand Moff Tarkin as like an answer to some vehicle decks, is pretty awesome, and it can be piloted too. So like, just imagine like cheating him out with, now there are 2 of them, and stealing like a Chewie
Yeah.
piloted ship and just like cracking in,
That's nuts.
and you just keep it until he's gone. Like
Yeah,
it's not
right.
like a change of
Change
heart
of
type
heart.
effect,
Yeah, it's
right?
like
Like
Sower of Temptation is the magic card, I think. It's like
yeah,
you gain control of it until that unit dies, and then they get it back.
those effects have usually been really good as long as they're statted correctly and costed correctly. But like you're in the color that likes to cheat on resources, right?
Right.
Yellow. So like I'm sure there's going to be some awesome combo with him. Um, I also really like Dryden Voss. Like I I know it's a really simple card. It just doubles his power when he attacks, and then you can't untap him
Mhm.
for the next regroup phase. It's almost like exert in Magic, if anybody is familiar with that mechanic, where you got like a extra effect if you exerted it, where it just doesn't untap the next turn. I think he's like weirdly just like this awesome closer where you just suit him up with something, or you use like surprise strikes and blasters and just like put your opponent in this impossible like checkmate. Um, there's also that one untap effect that I had talked about on one of the previous episodes that I thought was really cool, which was like you can ready another unit that didn't enter attack or enter play this phase.
Yeah.
Um, so like the beginning of that next turn or whatever, yeah, he didn't untap because of his ability, but then you can untap him with it's not over yet, make a spy token, and then do it again. So like those
Yeah.
type of like kind of little combos I think are cool. So
Yeah,
I'm definitely more.
he's
mm,
cool, and like just to talk about Dryden, real quick, as someone pointed out in our team chat, I think it might have been Andrew. where we were talking about Dryden, and we're like, okay, this card might be kind of cool to do, X, Y, Z. But he's like, well, if you think about it, the Quinlan unit from set 5 does like the same damage with a blaster as Dryden does with the blaster, and like he gets done tap. So it's like you really have to have a really specific deck to make Dryden work. I don't know if it's like GI or some deck that can untap him like you talked about, but it's going to take some work to really make him good, I think.
I mean, he's Underworld, and he also has
Yeah.
the villainy tag, right?
Right.
So he works with Mahdi. Like, there's some interesting stuff. I'm not saying he's like busted or anything.
Sure, yeah, right,
but
sure.
I just like those effects. When something says double, it always catches my attention.
Yeah.
So like those things can scale infinitely, and that's exciting. There's some really cool like neutral stuff. I love seeing the double yellow leader. Like we didn't really
DJ,
talk about
yeah.
We talked about DJ, but we didn't announce that he's like the first leader that doesn't have hero
and I
or
think
villain.
there's a second one too. Like they're like revealed today, man. It sounds like there's another double aspect leader as well.
I mean, yeah, that would make sense. We still are missing a couple colors. Like there's only one green villainy
I wouldn't
and
be
one blue villainy
surprised.
right now. So like
I wouldn't be
maybe
surprised if it's double vigilance because like last set they did the neutral and for both to replace
Yeah.
the starter deck leaders,
Right.
and so double cunning for Padme. I wouldn't be surprised to see double vigilance
Yeah,
for
I
Palpatine.
didn't look at the numbering on DJ or the leaders to see where something would fit, but like I'm certain that there's another weird leader.
I just like seeing them like kind of expand
Yeah.
the game's design, and like that's one of the big things that we talked about was just like making more complex things. I think a lot of the cards spoiled are definitely that. I wish they kind of started with these cards.
Yeah, but then if they started with them, then we'd be talking about like random draft chaff right now, and like we'd
Yeah.
kind of be down. Like it makes sense that they save like the hype stuff for later, but like my wish is that the whole set was on like a relatively like mid power level, like instead of like here's all these like terrible cards I don't ever see play, then here's like these 10 cards that are going to be in every deck, and it's like, come on, like give me a set that's worth buying.
Yeah.
You didn't mention Crucible. Like you talked about Thrawn but didn't mention Crucible yet, but that's going to be a really big card, I think, for like Thrawn green decks. Card seems insane.
Yeah, no, that card's really good. And it's also weirdly a Jedi, so get your Kit
It
Fistos
is,
ready.
yeah, and the transport. Like there are cards that matter about transport, so that's something else too. Tyler, thoughts on set 6?
Finally, it took a little while for the wheel to start spinning, but I want to talk about the low hanging fruit. Back in set 1, I started with Boba. Boba was the thing I played, but can't bring Boba to like locals. Is too good, boring, blah blah blah. So I built another deck that was really nice and cool. It had this like weird, funky 25 health base, like security complex lab thing, and this Grand Inquisitor. And every set, I'm like, oh, look at these new things. Maybe Grand Inquisitor, this is his time. Maybe this is his time. Maybe this is his time. And Dryden is gonna be a good card for Inquisitor. And then they're like, all right, let's just ham fist the first like viable combo into the game. All right, let's do the one turn kill with Inquisitor and Darth Treya. And
The tragedy
that's interesting.
of Darth Plagueis is
Yep.
is the combo that he's talking about. So just
Mhm.
for people who,
You can explain
don't
it,
know,
yeah.
is if you play the tragedy of Darth Plagueis on Darth Treya, it can't be killed by damage for this turn. So you can keep untapping it with GI's effect over and over again, because every time it attacks, it untaps your leader. So you just keep untapping it over and over again. Attack for 2, attack for 2, attack for 2. It is a really sweet combo. I question being able to keep around Darth Treya till your 7 resource turn.
It's definitely not going to be good.
Yeah, or find
It's
a way
very
to do it.
interesting that we've gotten it. Like the only thing that came close was Trench, where it was like a super
Sand Hill,
complicated,
yeah. Yeah, the Sand Hill
massive
combo.
pile.
Yeah.
And then Kylo was the next closest, where it's just like, okay, the Both and Kylo one turn kill thing, like you get in there, and now we actually have it. We have like a more viable. This is the actual first on like 2-card combo
Yeah,
because
yeah,
your
it is a
leader
2-card
doesn't
combo.
count.
So.
And
It's the closest we've gotten to Splinter Twin in
Yeah.
Splinter.
Correct. Yeah.
If only I could play Darth Try on my opponent's turn and then untap with it.
And
If
then play
only.
it.
Yeah.
But
really cool card though.
yeah, and I think this set has done a lot for putting, it's the 6 set. We already have so many tools at our disposal. What more could a set come out that is just adding more to finishing off the rest of this meta game that we have? It's just giving a lot of great tools for a lot of specific things. And it's going to be a lot of more stronger stuff I can see when we start rotating, where things will be able to actually build a new foundation of a meta game once we hit set 7.
Yeah, and going back to Darth Treya real quick, it's actually really good with Towson as
I
well.
also,
I think.
I was looking, like, I've been wanting that style of effect of just like a way to use your leader ability again for a while now. I've never vocalized it, but in my head I've been like, oh, that'd be really cool. You can do some gross stuff with Chancellor Palpatine. I think there's some interesting applications for like Bosk. Like there's any leader that like taps to do their effect, preferably without paying a resource. But even if like you're paying a resource, or like with, I don't think you want it Invader, but imagine you get 2 TIE fighters a turn, or any number of like tap to get a bonus.
Yeah,
Like,
well, it definitely makes you go back over to the full card list and look at all the leaders, right? It's like what leaders exhaust to do something, and like because it's force, I think Towson makes sense. Of course, GI makes sense because it's 2 power. There's lots of things that could make sense. It's just you have to really figure out where it best fits, and its stats are really good to stay alive. I mean, 5 defense on a 3-drop is what you want to survive. So
I know that the community was very fast at finding the Darth Treya, Darth Plagueis combo, but like, do we think that FFG intended for that to be a thing? Like, did they forget about it? Like, I don't think it's going to be so busted that it's going to be a problem.
Look, I don't want to give them credit for anything.
All right.
Well, okay, no, the reason why I said this is mostly because I think it's somewhat savvy that if you have a policy that we don't want 2-card combos or like these combo things, you can, but maybe you can have them if, as long as you're doing it, you need to have like an out of aspect card.
Yeah.
Maybe,
right?
yeah. Like I think Tyler is on record at some point saying that there'll never be like a 2-card combo or some like combo type thing. So like
that's literally what this is, right?
Yeah,
and it was very fast for the
exactly.
community to find it. So like I have to assume that they know that it works and they just think that it's not good enough, or that it won't be like the best thing to be doing, and it'll just be like a tier 2 or 3 deck, which is like fine. That's fine for like a cool little gimmicky combo
that's
deck.
That's probably true. Like it's probably like something you bring to locals. I can't envision in my head like a weird meta where the best decks in the meta are cold to like a 2-card 7 and 6 7 mana combo. Like I don't see it, but maybe. Who knows? CJ, what are your thoughts on set 6 so far?
Yeah, I like everyone's points, and I think it's really, the new leaders are really exciting. I have one thing that I'm really worried about though. You look at the new leaders, all the leaders, and it's true for the last like 4 sets, and you just look at their costs and their stats, and they all suck.
Yeah.
Right. And you wonder why we have 1-card ban, and all of a sudden the best leaders are Han and Han 2. It's because they resource cheat. Right. Yeah. And so they're just
and they deploy on 5, right?
They deploy on 5.
I mean, Han deploys on 6 technically,
right.
But like it's really 5.
Right. And you think about the same thing with Boba, deploy on 5 with a resource cheat. Yeah. Like it's just generic good ability that doesn't require you to have a build around almost at all in order to maximize the value.
Yeah.
And then we have all these cool leaders that come out and you're like, oh, I want to use that cool one. That's a cool either tribal or has a cool ability. And you're just like, oh, it comes out like GI. Oh, it comes out on 6. It has 3 power. Sick. Great job, FFG. I'm glad you were so scared he was going to be good that you just nerfed him to the ground. Yeah. And like it's the same thing I think with these new leaders we saw today. It's like, man, like Bale looks really cool, but it's a 3/3. And I know it comes back
2 cards.
Right. You got to get rid of 2 cards. Would it even be that bad if it was get rid of 1 card? or we make it a 4-2, because a
Yeah.
3-3 dies the same way a 4-2 dies.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
There's
And so
a lot
like
of things you can do with Bale though to kind of minimize that, discard. Like the red
I
rare base from
I
set 2
I'm
or
not
whatever it
saying
was. I mean,
there is or isn't things you can do. I'm just
Yeah.
saying every time we get a new leader that looks cool, they
there's
just
some
were
big
so
restriction. Yeah.
so conservative with it that you really have to make it work. And it's to me just I'm worried we're gonna get in there, we're gonna spend a lot of time trying to figure it out, and then we're just back in Han 2 or Han 1,
Yeah.
or
Well,
we go
yeah.
to or Towson because we got all these force units. Like
There is
I,
one card for Bale that I think was previewed yesterday and or Monday, and it should have been previewed on the same day as Bale. Is that 1 in a million card? Like
That card's sweet.
that card when they first showed it is garbage. Like hardly any use for it. Like I feel like it's just like not even playable. And then like they showed Bale and you're like, wait, now I could like play it anytime I want. I could use my resources however I want and then play it, and like it just got a lot better. So
yeah, I'm excited for the set. I just have this sinking feeling. It's just like every time we get a new set, like, you know what I mean? Like I go in there, I spend like 40 hours just building all the new leaders, trying to be cool, and they all just stink.
yeah,
Right.
no, I mean
And like,
I agree.
and that I think that's just a really feel bad
Yeah.
A good
situation.
question to ask though is, now that we're hitting set 6, should the default starting point for leaders be 5 cost 3 sevens? Should going into a post rotation metagame, should it should everything still keep up to, I guess the what still is going to be left is like Towson stuff like 3 sevens? Do we need or is it okay for them to get weaker? Like what actually will be the most interesting? That's gonna be a tough question. That's like the game design question at this point.
I think part of the issue that like FFG has had is, I think we talked about it before, they've hamstrung themselves a little bit by having to develop 2 leaders per color pair per set and like 18 leaders per set.
Yeah.
And that leads to like these filler leaders that are draft chaff, and like you need some leaders for a draft, but they can still be interesting. And like I would rather them cut the number of leaders in half, because like let's be real, 3 to 4 leaders at most per set are going to be playable, and you'd rather have be half the leaders they printed instead of a quarter, and they get to put more development time into these smaller pool of leaders.
But the one thing to go against that, like I agree, they're gonna have some draft chaff leaders 100%. But when you have a new mechanic coming out in your set, you need to have at least one leader that uses it really well. Like who ended up being the best force leader? Han.
Yeah.
Like are we kidding right now?
Towson.
Like maybe
Towson, yeah.
Towson, but Towson kind of fell off after Worlds when people
Right.
started being able to understand what it was
That's
doing.
That's part of
So-
why I like Bale's design, is because like he's kind of a payoff for plot, but also synergizes with past mechanics and smuggle and stuff. And like
Yeah.
obviously his real thing is that he can deploy multiple times a turn, but he cares about playing cards from the row.
Well,
And so like
I think
But
that
what
the best leader for Disclose is actually Padme, and she's a starter leader, right? So you can't
Yeah.
even draft her and play like a
Can't even
Disclose
draft
deck
her.
with her.
I mean, that's the place to put the broken leaders, though.
Yeah.
Put them in your starter decks. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. You built in this design space. It just, I'm excited for the new set. I'm gonna dive in.
Yeah.
I have this really sinking feeling that I'm gonna be
That-
less excited.
That
Like
your
a
decks
week
will be
after.
70% set 1 and 2 cards. Yeah, because that's
Yeah.
how it's been the last like 2 or 3 sets. It's like
Yeah.
if you're not building a deck with that set's mechanics, like piloting, then your deck is like 70%
But-
set 1
so
and 2 cards.
I don't want to compare this too much to another game, but like you compare this to Magic, right? When a new set comes out, it's not like all the old decks go away. They get 1 or 2 cards, they go, but you always have 1 or 2 decks that come out of nowhere. That's some like
Mhm.
crazy. Now this deck's good. It got the final piece, or this is the new mechanic that they're pushing,
Yeah,
and
well,
that deck comes up. That
That's
happens
also
every
because
time.
that Magic isn't afraid to reprint like mechanics that exist in older sets. Star Wars won't do that.
I
Like,
know there's no bounty.
Yeah,
No
there's
bounty.
no
I
more
will
bounty
say-
cards. There's no more smuggle cards.
Just capture.
Like
Yeah,
them
just
reprinting
Capture did come back. Watch out for the capture decks now.
Ooh.
Yeah, but like
Jabba's
that's a pretty
finally
basic
there.
mechanic. Like it is giving me hope that they started to reprint capture more, and like they even have a leader that cares about capture in DJ. But it's I'd like to see some of the more powerful mechanics. Like I'm conflicted on how I feel about Smuggle because I think it kind of took away some of the skill of the game in terms of resourcing, but also it's a very powerful, very flexible, very fun mechanic. So like, let's reprint some of the more powerful stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. So
Plot's even worse than Smuggle.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see how that plays
Yeah.
out. So we're already
Mm.
at 1 hour, but real quick, I want to ask you guys what's your favorite cards so far from set 6. Where Tyler, I'll start with you here. What's your favorite card previewed so far?
Oh, that's really tough. I thought this was just gonna be a generic question, like what's your favorite cards, of all time? And like, I like Cunning. Cunning's a great card.
Play it in
At least from
DJ.
set 6. Yeah, you can bring it back. Something specifically that I've liked coming from set 6. I do really enjoy the things like Libertine and DJ. The weird kind of quirky how you could play it for cheaper, put under your unit, and like try to like net neutral. It's like resource cheating, but there's like fun pizzazz to it. It's a little bit more special to it. It's not just easy like, oh, my unit gets 2 damage, or I just lose a card for to play for cheap. So there may be more game to it. That may probably just make it worse and not playable. But hey, if it's played, it'll probably be very fun to play. A lot of heavy thinking that's going to be required.
CJ, what's your favorite card?
I'm most excited for Colonel Yularen, the leader.
Leader, yeah, nice.
Yeah,
I think
like,
he's really cool.
I think
glad
he's
that
really
you said
cool.
something.
Yeah,
that
I think
seems
it's cool. But we'll see. I don't know about his stats though. Still don't know. But
We'll see. But he does deploy on 5 though, right? I mean, that's what it takes to be playable. So
He deploys on 5,
Yeah.
and you do get the action sheet, right? So these are cool things to do.
So
we'll see.
if it deploys
I
on
think the
5,
most
it can be
exciting
playable.
the most exciting thing about him is going to be while Overwhelming Barrage is still legal. Because like there's only so many leaders that deploy on 5 in Villainy that have a good Overwhelming Barrage leader,
Yeah.
or that you're not like really can't play green with, right? But like he is green, so you just always have access to it, and then you can play whatever other color you want.
Yeah.
So like that always like that flags to me as like a must be aware.
I am known as an aggro deck builder to hate the green leaders though, because you don't get the best aggro card, which is Energy Conversion
ECO,
Lab.
yeah. But you can get Tarkentown.
But yeah, okay. Yeah, you can, and maybe that's what we're doing. I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Mickey, what's your favorite card?
I'm gonna cheat and give you a couple. So
Whoa.
the one that like I want to toy with the most is the Lando Calrissian. Like
Lando.
that ability to
Mhm.
protect your own unit, and then you can clear the board, and you're also healing. It's kind of reinforcement walker-esque in that way, where you get the heals and then like protect my own guy from a super laser blast I'm about to slam. That seems pretty cute. I also like digging through the card file and finding like not necessarily random, but like more niche uncommons and commons that you can kind of break a deck with. A big like point that I've done this in the past is like finding Gorilla Soldier and slamming that in Quinlan and kind of unlock things. I think Jar Jar Binks is sneaky going to be really good and really important in some decks.
Yeah, I agree.
Like especially the Bail Organa decks, just being able to make them a 5/5 even for a turn on 4 that lets you contest pretty much anything coming out that turn. And the third one is because it's not technically in set 6, but it's legal when set 6 comes out, and it's not Admiral Ozzel, but it's from the Intro to Battle Hoth set. I want proof, not leads. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card from your hand. I have been begging for more self-discard outlets in this game to set up stuff like Anakin, to set up stuff like Palpatine's Return, and this simple like draw 2, pitch a card. It can synergize with Rey and Tarkentown if you want to do that kind of thing to set up your Anakin.
And
I think
there's a
lot
card that was
stuff.
previewed today. That's
Krea's Whispers. If you're
that's on
thinking
the
about
same vein as the card that you just mentioned. It's draw 3 and then keep 1, put 1 on the bottom, and then discard 1. It's like telling time from Magic. It's like the same thing.
Or
like-
maybe if you had like the both cards in your hand, you pick 2 of them to put on top of your deck.
Then
Then
draw them. Yeah.
you can shuffle them away or something with effects. That can't be a good thing,
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but like just
But-
good draw effects and good discard outlets, I think is something.
I gotta ponder that one, Tyler.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's a good
I
idea.
think
Let's
you-
brainstorm. Let's
I think-
brainstorm together.
We'll brainstorm
You
and
can't
see if
just
it's good.
set up-
Well, and
All right.
the Orlando that you mentioned works really well with the new DJ leader. There's
Yes,
all
yeah.
this weird capturing going on. You can gain life. You can free them all. It's I don't know. It's
Let me
weird.
capture your guys capturing my guy
Yeah.
from Lando, and then your guys capturing my guy
Yeah.
from DJ, but now
from
I'm freeing my
DJ.
other guy, and
Yeah, it's just kind of weird how all that works.
I'm sure judges are ecstatic about
Yeah,
this.
it's like, oh my god, all these triggers. Ian, it's your favorite card.
All right, so my favorite card is one that we didn't talk about yet.
Okay.
I think this card is actually like game breaking and dumb. And if in my mind it's going to happen the way I think it is, it's going to be terrible for the game because they literally banned a card because of this play pattern.
Okay, hold on. Let me guess real quick. Is it the one where you tap 2 of your opponent's resources?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is the wrong ride. It
Yeah.
is a 3-cost plot card that says exhaust 2 enemy resources.
Yeah.
And you
Now,
get to play it when you flip.
Yep.
which
You
is-
get to play it whenever, but then you also can just play it as a plot card
Yeah, when you flip.
without having to spend a card from hand.
I was hoping one of you four would mention this card. I'm so glad that you did because I also think this card is busted.
Not only is it busted for me to like flip my leader and just turn half of your resources off
Yeah.
or more. Like if I have a 5 deploy leader, like doing this is crazy. What if like Sabine Yellow just does this,
Oh,
right?
you
Like,
said it. You said it. I was,
Yeah.
against control. You have a board. They're tapped out, and then what? You just
yeah,
win.
and then like what are they supposed to do with one resource? Like
They
that seems
lose.
absolutely busted. And you didn't even pay a card from hand
yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
And you as the aggro deck have a bunch of 1-cost cards that you can pair on your flip, but I doubt your opponent does.
Or even just go like one drop, Falcon, pay for Falcon, flip
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
All right, I'm hitting you for 8. And
I think that you'll
And they
see
can't
that
do anything.
card in a lot of sideboards at the very least because against control, you can brick their entire turn just by playing this one card.
Yeah. Well, I also think it's like Kylo.
Yeah.
So weirdly enough, you want to use as many of your resources on upgrades for Kylo,
Right.
but against certain decks, you need to like have them somewhat tapped out when you do stuff, and like having the ability to plot out and just like tap them out of Rival's Fall or something, right? And then still get like 4 resources of upgrades, like that's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
I don't know. This card to me seems like absolutely cracked.
Yeah,
I
I
also think that
agree.
it's just good on its own. Like sometimes you just need them to not play a removal spell on your unit, and like it's one of those cards that's going to make initiative matter even more,
Yeah, I was
which
just
is
gonna
also
say.
something that I don't think is necessarily great for the
Like
game.
if you ever watch 2 really good players play, like you'll see that what they do is they try to bait as many actions as possible before committing any resources, right? Like you're attacking, you're just using your leader, you're doing things to make sure that you can react most efficiently to what they're doing. This card throws a whole nother wrench in that because if they're yellow, you can't reasonably bait actions anymore because like one of their actions could just be brick your turn, and like that's crazy to
But
me.
like if you have this card plus Waylay in your hand, you just have you
Yeah.
can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah,
Just like
it's
either I'm tapping your resources or I'm bouncing the doo-doo slam.
or if there's
first
like a
action.
plot waylay. I mean, can you imagine? It's like
God.
bounce your guy, tap your resources. It's like
yeah,
Oh
like-
God.
I mean it also seems like busted against Han 1. Like Han 1 traditionally a deck that
Yeah.
needs to get to 7 on its
7.
flip turn.
Yeah, it's like no,
And-
sorry, you only have 5 resources this turn. Actually,
Right, it's just like hilariously just stops them in their tracks. Like
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. Like DJ was busted because it was a card that messed with your opponent's resources. This messes with 3 at once. Like it's kind of a big deal. I know it's only for like that one phase, but like I don't know. It seems crazy to me.
yeah. No, I agree. The card's great. I mean, my favorite card is that card as well. Other than that, it's still Mon Mothma unit, the one that we got like the first week of previews. I still think she's busted. I have Ray in mind, and she is like game breaking in that deck. She's way better than Kelleran. She just does everything that deck wants. So I would expect to see a lot of Mon Mothma in the Ray decks. So we'll see. But that's going to be it for this week. Chrono, I think you won just by default because I forgot to give
Oh.
points like for
Wow.
half the episode. But in my heart, Ian's the winner because he mentioned the card that I really wanted to talk about. But on paper, I guess Chrono is the winner. So
Love it, love it. And it's good because there's a rant I didn't get to go off of.
go ahead.
All right. FFG. We have to have a heart to heart for a moment. Grit is a terrible mechanic. Stop costing all your cards like it's a good broken mechanic. It just isn't. Okay. You don't need to make your give a character grit card double aspect blue. Okay. You don't need to do it. It's not that good. It can be good, but you need to cost it correctly. And as of right now, you refuse to do that. And please stop printing these cards like there's some kind of magical grit deck. It has never existed because you just really don't want it to by costing everything insane every time you put that keyword on a card. And a rant.
There you go. That's going to be it for episode 14. Solid rant to end us. We will see you guys again in 2 weeks for episode 15, where we will wrap up Portland sector, the Bilbao regional, and
The Philly sector.
Philly sector.
Philadelphia,
Yep. There you
where
go.
it's going to be so much fun to play limited. I bet we're going to be all excited to talk about how great a time we had playing
I
Seal.
am excited. I actually am excited for that event.
We shall see how we feel after the event.
We'll see you in
So,
2 weeks.
until then, we will see you guys later.
See ya.
Good night.